This conference will now be recorded.
Right, so I just prepared one instance, guys. Yesterday we were having all the charts, right? So at least for the backup restore, we need to understand. So one standalone instance I just quickly prepared. We will talk on that. Right, so let's talk about this, guys. So we have the binaries called, okay, so setup, Mongo, bin. If you go here, what and all we discussed so far? We know Mongo, we know MongoD, we know Mongo S at the moment, right? So we're going to see today Mongo dump today and tomorrow. Mongo dump, Mongo export, Mongo import, Mongo restore. These four commands we're going to see, and tomorrow itself I'll cover Mongo files as well. So what left is Mongo start and Mongo top. The rest all will be covered by tomorrow. All binaries you need to know. Why we use bsend dump, why we use export, import, dump, Mongo dump and restore and replay. Replay also will be covered tomorrow. So all these except these two, all the binaries will be covered up. So you need to know each binary importance in the background, why we use them. There are limited binaries in the Mongo. All binaries have its own importance in the background. So what is each importance? We're going to see that. Okay. For now, let's talk about four commands. I prepared anyway. I'll talk about one by one. Mongo export and import, Mongo dump and Mongo restore. These four commands we're going to use right now. See here, if you wanted to work with collection level, one collection, particular collection level binaries are Mongo import and export. These are all. If you wanted to move a database, you cannot move using the export and import. You have to go with the dump and restore only. There is no options. So I have written to move around the collections, we will use the below commands like Mongo export and import. To move around the databases, we use the Mongo dump and Mongo restore. And even to move around the collection also, we use Mongo dump and restore only officially. We don't use this one in productions. The reason behind I'm going to explain. These commands we don't generally, I don't recommend you using it. Rather use this one. This is going to give you the benefits, additional benefits over these commands. As we have the commands you need to aware of in and out. That is the reason I wanted to talk about. But in the live environment, I don't recommend using these commands because this is going to have additional benefits over these commands. What are those? I'll show you practically so that you understand and then do it. You'll get the benefit out of it, the background benefit using these commands. Okay. Okay, let's start with it. So in Mongo, basically, we will deal with three types of data. Most of the time, three types of data we'll deal with. Always JSON data. We get the JSON data. JSON means what we have seen, that flower bracket and parenthesis flower bracket, within that we defining everything. We did all the CRUD operations is all completely JSON data, JavaScript notation, basically all that. So let me see, connect to the Mongo. Okay, Mongo. I have created a user called Ravinder. Password, let me type not an issue here. It's not a big security for me anyway. But if you don't want to reveal your password, just give P. That's it. And then go authentication, database, and admin. It will ask you the password at your end when you're trying to connect. So the password will get hidden. So other people cannot see it if they're trying to see. Use admin or else show DBs. I can see it. Right now I don't have any DBs, right? Okay. I'll get some sample data for discussion. Yesterday send the file, right? Come on, please. One minute, just need this sample data we have here, right? So intentionally, let's do something. Okay, let me pick up this sample data there also. Uh, Here, do I have sample data? I do have sample data. I don't need this then, right? Okay, good enough. I don't need that. Okay, use lab database. I'm just using a lab, and there is data, some data which is actually up to, if you see the data is in the jumbled format, intentionally kept in jumbled format. Even data is jumbled, in the backup we can sort. How we can sort? We can do a lot of things with the backups actually, not one thing, a lot of things we can do it. So let's load this data into the one of the collection. So I'm using the lab database now. Okay, I'm inserting all of that data into EMP table. Right, it got loaded. Now show collections. One collection is there for now. EMP dot find dot count. 40 records should be there. 40 documents should be there, which is fine. DB dot class insert. Uh, let's make that as class few records, the same records. Maybe I'll pick up few. Second is sample data. I'll tell you why I'm doing. There is reason behind it. Oh, double commas. It's copying the comma also. Good enough. Right. So one. Let me take out all of these numbers. I'll make it. Let's go with 1, 2, 3. Not an issue. Oh, come on. I'll keep it this one as class. Oh, selecting everything. We need some data, so where we can work with the multiple things. That is the reason. Right. Good enough. So I'm going to load this data as well now. Right. We have two collections. This is enough for our discussions. So now let's talk about the collection level, guys. Basically, in Mongo, we will deal with three types of data. So let me create one directory also for this, not to confuse you all. Let's go with the proper way. What are the directories we have? Data and log, and the mkdir backup, mkdir backups. Okay, cd backups. I'm entering into backups. Now, Mongo restore, Mongo export, Mongo dump, Mongo restore are OS level commands. I mean, you have to call the binaries from the OS, not from the Mongoose inside the Mongo. You don't need to enter into Mongo shell to do it basically. Okay. So if I want to take the backup, I had to run from the OS itself. So let's talk about Mongo import and export, guys. This I'll finish, then I'll come back to the dump and restore. So I have created all the scenarios what we use. Generally, this is what we face in the real world. So I prepared all the scenarios, and then I'll explain, it every single situation I'll explain. I'll show you detailed on every point. Generally, we play with the JSON and JSON array and CSV files. These are the three different file formats we receive to load the data into Mongo or take the data out of Mongo, generally. So let me show how we can generate that kind of data. Mongo only supports, especially these, external files directly if you wanted to load. So if you have a really huge files, video files, maybe the file which is more than 16 MB, you cannot make it into collection. So how you can load large data sets, into Mongo and read? How do you read it out of Mongo? Is tomorrow topic. Like we have a Mongo files where you can load any raw file into Mongo. Like it can be 1 GB file, 2 GB file. Straight away you can load into Mongo using different concepts. The different concepts I'll pick up in the tomorrow topic. Anyway, for now, backup restore existing itself. This is the most common used administration in Mongo, guys. As a DBA, we do very frequent activities in the backup restore, like taking the collection backup, database backup, and restore, and taking partial collection backup and restoring it. There are multiple requests they do ask. They will ask conditional backups and restore, and everything they do ask. It all matters, based on the requirement we do things. And other than backups, what is the regular work we do? Security, creating the users, giving the permissions basically and respect to database when they need it, and installing the Mongo server, new Mongo servers. Usual case we usually face, like installing the Mongos and forming the replica sets basically, and looking at the performance thing and creating the indexes basically. See, Mongo is not, like it does not create a lot of issues like other products. If you see SQL Server, it will create a lot of issues basically when we start working. If you configure the replication fails for numerous reasons always, and also have a lot of internal issues. So replica sets and everything, Mongo is not that too complaint product. You don't get any issues basically. Once you configure, things go in a smooth manner. Very rarely we you see the issues in the Mongo especially. So, but regular activities, backup restore, security, installations, and performance, and creating the indexes and moving the data here and there, pre-prod to prod, all that. So using the backup restore itself. These are the main area of work we do every day. So let's work with the backups. Right now, I don't have anything in my backup directory. So, but I don't directly use it. I'll use the location where I'm taking the backup. So Mongo export. Let's work with the Mongo export. Is the first command. Export and import. These are the collection level commands. So all possible way we are going to talk about this. Mongo export and a username who can connect to the take the backup. This user should have a read root level privilege to do everything, like he is restoring every database and taking the backup of every database. So no specific permissions, like going to the database level. Root level can do. As a DBA, we will hold the root permissions in Mongo. We can do anything, so we don't talk about the permissions here right now. We iterate 1 2 3 4 and authentication database admin. What database backup I wanted to take? So what database I created here, actually, if you see, I created a special database, right? Our discussion is lab. So I want to take a lab database. Okay, lab database. Within that, what collection backup I wanted to take? EMP collection backup. Where I wanted to take the backup, I have to mention basically out. This if you know, O means out basically. Okay, and where I want to take the backup, where, like MongoDB and backups. This is where I want to take the backup. And you have to give the file name. It's your responsibility. So what I'm going to do, emp.json. I'm taking the JSON backup. Okay, JSON file backup. We'll call it a JSON backups basically. So try to understand. So simple command it is. It's not at all tough. You all can easily understand. Mongo export is a utility, OS level utility. It is a Mongo binary which supports taking the collections backup, conditional basis, and JSON data, JSON array data, CSV file backups. Everything can be exported using this itself. Mongo dump, Mongo restore does not support this, like JSON and CSV file format and JSON array. There is a difference again. Most of the time we use for the production migrations Mongo dump, Mongo restore. But if they ask any conditional thing, you have to come to the Mongo import and export only. I'll explain, and when I explain, you get the more clarity on this. Now, if you see Mongo export and username who can talk to the Mongo server, and password authentication against where he is authorized to authenticate this user details, and you should be holding the root privilege to do it, or else you need to have the backup on the database level at least where I am taking the backup. Database is lab. On which database you have a collection? In the lab database. That is why I called lab database first. Then I'm taking the collection EMP backup and giving the output where I want to take the backup, where MongoDB backups, and the file name, what file name it has to generate, JSON. If I trigger this, it is going to take the backup. See, it is exported 40 records. Now, if I see LSF in L, I see a file, and this file I can read directly. It's a JSON file. You can read it. You can read the data as it is, as data is generated basically. Okay. So now let's generate. This is called JSON backup. JSON files backup basically .json. And we will take one more type of files backup called JSON array. Okay, let's go with it. So the same command is absolutely same. Mongo export, username, password, authentication, admin, same, but I'm going to change this to EMP JSON. Okay, and at the end you have to extra parameter you have to give JSON array. JSON array. I'll tell you what kind of output it will generate. Okay, it is a different thing basically. We get the external files, JSON array files. We wanted to load into Mongo, we will load it as a DBA. They'll give us a, JSON array files. Okay, most of the time. If I hit it, it is exported. What is the difference between these two? Basically, if you see JSON backup and JSON array backup, this is JSON array because I mentioned JSON array. JSON backup, when you are restoring it, you have to use a JSON format restore. If you're generated the backup using JSON array, you have to call the JSON array tag when you're restoring as well. If not, it won't restore. So you need to know what format of data you got it. How do I know what format they have given basically? So you can read the file basically. So if you read this JSON format directly, you can read it. But if you read JSON array file, the backup file, if I read it, I'll get to know it's a, what is that? Right. If I read this, data will be like this. It is given in the array, basically. If you see, it is loaded into one of the array. If I wanted to load this manually, db dot, we can do it manually if at all you wanted. You pick this data and go to the Mongo, insert into. I got the same kind of data from the SQL server, if you guys remember. Just let's play with some data. I mean, Mongo. The backup restore is so simple, guys. Nothing much to worry about on this one, seriously. Right, use, let's show DBs. Lab we have, right? Use test database or test, we by default we have, don't create that one basically. Use cloud database, okay? And then insert db dot, db dot, what do we call? Student maybe, just collection name. Insert many, and then what you have to do, give the parenthesis within this. Okay, within this you paste this one, which one what we got from that. Just that's it. db dot student dot insert many, and it is coming in the array. If I give it this one, what it said, OID is not a valid storage. Why it is generated? OID, the heck it is generated. Okay, from the backup you cannot do like this, I guess. JSON array you can only directly restore it only. This OID it is not detecting. Okay. Anyway, this is a JSON format. I'll show you how do you restore this one if you wanted to. Let's not to jump to the next command immediately. I'll talk about Mongo import right after this. First what we have discussed, guys. Just let me conclude this. First, we took the JSON backup. See, Mongo import, Mongo export, username, password, authentication database, database from where you are picking the collection, output where you want to take the collection backup. You're given the entire directory. This is a JSON basically, right? So now if I go to here, this is a JSON array backup in the same directory, same database, same collection. Just we are seeing it. There is a difference, and it is not letting us to load because it's a backup. From the backup directly we cannot call it, but we can restore using the Mongo import the same file. And the last thing is a CSV file format. So I mentioned, if you look at this, guys, first taking the backup of a collection into JSON format, taking the backup of a collection to array format. I mentioned everything what exactly we are doing it. Taking the backup of a collection in CSV format. CSV something is different story altogether. Let's do it. Till this point things are same, like up to see, Mongo export, username, password, authentication name, database, and everything is same. If you wanted to take into CSV, you have to mention the fields. What are the fields you wanted to? Basically, you have to read the data. Let me read it. Okay, use lab so collections db dot. If you have any question, just keep asking us. Find one just for the data structure. I'm reading one. So ID and name, I wanted only these two fields. I don't want other fields. Maybe we have class also, right? Uh, db dot, let's play with the class then. db dot class find one. This has some extra field address, ID, name, address. You can mention what fields you wanted in the backup. That's the advantage with the CSV file. If you go with the if you go with the JSON array and JSON file backup, you cannot choose what file what fields you wanted in the backup. Maybe you don't need all the fields and the target. It's a field level backup. You can take the field level backup and you can limit the data, all combinations we want to see. For now, field you have to mention. Without fields, you cannot take the backup. First you have to definitely have to mention the fields. What are the fields we are going to take the backup? You need to know the structure for that. ID, name, address. Let's take ID and address only, or let's name and address only. Let's take two things backup: name and address. Okay. Do we have the name, address correct? Yes, correct. Fields are these are the fields, and the type you have to mention. It's mandatory. Type equal to CSV. CSV. Okay. Then output the
What
backup.
will happen if you have redundant data?
Redundant data, it just take whatever it is, whatever you're giving it. It don't look for the redundant. It just see it is going to take these fields. That's it. See, they're asking these fields must be loaded on the target. We are taking that fields backup. That's it. So you wanted to keep this one as S number also, you can keep it. Like we just went with the S number also, right? So you don't want to take S name example. S number and address. Is it S number only? ID actually. Mm, ID and address. Okay. Let's pull out ID and address only, not name. Okay. So till this point things are same as it is. Here we are mentioning the fields. If you don't mention the fields and example, let's do it. I'm mentioning the type CSV. You have to mention that mandatorily. If I'm not mentioning the fields, just I'm giving you type CSV and giving the backup here also emp CSV dot CSV extension also CSV. You must give that. If not, it won't follow the CSV format data in the background. The extension must be CSV. If I hit it, it'll throw the error. What is the error? Failed. CSV mode requires a field list. You have to mention the field. Without that, it won't take the backup. So you have to mention the fields before you generate the backup. What are the fields backup you want to take? ID and address. Only two things I want to take. If I hit it, it'll take the backup like this. If I go and see the files now here, you got the CSV file, right? You can read it directly. So emp CSV, if you read it, it got the what address? Where is the address? Wow, what happened to this?
It doesn't have address on that collection.
Ah, that's a good point you brought up. So collection, which collection I tried
Class,
to take?
class as a address.
You are absolutely correct. Thanks for that. See here, I try to take the EMP. EMP does not have the address. The problem is actually I would have taken the class. So instead of this, let's change it to class. And I'll change this one also to class CSV. Just let that file be there. There is no issue. Just to show this thing. Yeah. Very good observation. If you see this, it got 12 records. Now, if you see LSF and L, the file got generated. CSV file class. So cat class, you see this one. See address, the number and address. Two fields I mentioned. If I wanted S number also, is it S number? What was that? Name, just a name. Okay. I'd take that field and just give it will overwrite if you give the same file. That's the nature, default nature. So LSF and L cat class. See, you got all the data. I mean, field and ID is this, names is this, address is also this. So we generate three types of backups generally. One is a JSON, JSON array, CSV. These are the three file formats we will deal with in the Mongo. Other than that, I never seen basically moving the data through using the CSV, or else they give us the CSV backups or CSV, like they get from somewhere from the external vendor CSV format data. We have to load into Mongo. We have to generate the CSV file format data and give it to someone. So that way it happens. They're giving the data, taking the data in the CSV format because they are giving the specific fields of data, not all, for security reasons. And JSON array data, JSON data. These two also we receive from the external vendors, or we had to load as a DBA. They'll give us the file directions where the file is sitting, like get it to the server and load into the Mongo. Or else they'll give load it into the machine. They'll tell us this file we wanted to load into Mongo. We will load and do it. Anyway, so this is something you need to know. There is something called, we need to know, very important. We wanted to limit the backup. Maybe you have a billions of record. They don't want the historical data. They don't want. They wanted to play with only new data. That's where this other things will come into picture. So let's play with the EMP. So I'll go with the JSON itself. CSV, we don't do this because you need everything. It's backup. What do we say? This thing, EMP, C1 dot JSON. Let's go with the JSON. And here, conditional backups. Conditional backups, very rarely we will take it, very rarely. Query, okay. You can give the condition in the query itself. What condition I wanted to take? Example, if you go and see db.emp.find, you have a lot of 40 records here, right? Like 40 records. I don't want all 40 records. I just wanted only up to 30, up to 30. So how do I define? Hmm. How do I define? I'm going to make this one on the field. On the what field I wanted to mention? ID. ID. Okay. ID. Okay. Up to 30 I wanted. Less than, less than LTE, less than or equal to, wherever the value less than or equal to 30. I'm giving this value. I'm giving a query filter to the backup. If you see, I'm sending the Mongo export. I'm trying to take the backup of a collection. I'm sending the filter, query filter, ID up to wherever the ID value less than 30 only, I have to pick up the backup. So less than or equal to means 1 to 30. Up to 30 only it has to generate. Leave the rest of the part. So when you have a billions of rows and you have the data range till what point you wanted, you can define it in the query. If you hit it, it will take the backup. Oh, sorry, I mentioned CSV somewhere. CSV mode requires a field list. Where did I mention CSV? Oh, come on. CSV, it's not a CSV. You can do the CSV backup also. You have to mention the fields anyway. If you wanted the same thing, it will take any backup. It's just filtering the data. That's it. If I'm going with here, this one, it is exported 0 records. What the heck? Really? Let's see what file got generated. Connection 1. ID. Oh, sorry. What was the mistake? Can anyone tell? I did a mistake, small mistake. This one operator go with the dollar declaration greater than GTE, LTE, GE. You guys remember GT, LT? We had discussed that condition was wrong. So let's go with it. So now it got exported 12 records only. Oh, it is a class. Come on. I'm looking for more records up to 30 EMP so that you understand well. So how this works. So in EMP, I have 40 records, but I wanted to get the backup up to 30 only. If I hit it, I'll get the 30 records. See, and all the records, if you see and go and see, where is conditional CON? This one. If you read this, you get the exactly 30 records up to 30. All the values below 30. If you see, this output is jumbled because the data in the collection is jumbled. I don't want that to be jumbled. I want it in the sorted order. Backup should be in the sorted order. Though collection data is in the worst, like it's not loaded in the proper order. They went with the bulk insert, in ordered bulk insert. That's where data got jumbled. They wanted the backup to be in the proper format. We can manipulate that also. I mentioned every single step here, no need to worry. Whatever I'm doing, I mentioned. So now what I'm doing is the query is good enough generating all the data, but I want it to sort in the order of the values. So you can mention sort equal to sort equal to ID 1. I mean ascending order, one higher to lower to higher. If I hit it, it will generate the backup again. Okay, just you have to mention that. That's it. If I go and read the same file, it got overwritten. Every time you do that, it will overwrite the file if you don't give a different file. So now I'm going to read this file. The values in the backups are in the sequential. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, up to 30. Though physically, if you're reading the data, of that collection, not in the order, you see this data 10 to 14, 4, 6, 7, something, it is randomly generated data, but I wanted in the backup in the order. You can mention that sort on which field you wanted to sort. There should be a field. It is sorting the data clearly on that particular field. Are you guys following?
Ravi, these commands are already there in the notes.
Absolutely, I mentioned. See guys,
Okay. Yeah.
taking the JSON backup, chasing the JSON array backup, taking the CSV file backup, how do you take in? And taking the conditional backup, ID greater than 10, all that. And taking the collection backup with the limit option. If you don't want to take a limit, let's talk about the limit. One more command. Every command mentioned in the notepad.
Ravi, it's not a drawback like it overrides without giving any warning.
This Linux is like that, Biren, actually. If you are instructing the command, you're authorizing it, it will go and do it. You have the authorization to do it. If you don't own it, it will tell you permission denied, but it override, it won't prompt here, basically. This is how it is basically. We have to be careful on that one. So now, if we see this one, we are getting 30 output. I don't want only 30, up to less than 30, but up to limit to. I wanted to limit the output to 20 records, 20 only. Below 30, but 20, which means that up to 20 you get the records. So this is also conditional backup. I'll make it as 2. Let's make it 2. if I take this one, it is going to take 20 records backup. See, let me explain this. This is very important. You are giving a condition. The condition is saying that ID value less than 30 up to 30. Good enough. This is sorting the ID values in the order. It is jumbled and it is putting the data in the order. And what it is doing, limiting the output. How many records you wanted right from the beginning? 20 records I wanted. So one more question I'll ask. See, if I go and see this one, I'll ask this one. If you know, you have to answer that. I'm trying to read this one. What data I got? 1 to 20. I wanted 40 to 20. Can anyone tell? How do I get it? In the backup, I wanted in the reverse order. Reverse means the down the data, that is the latest data. The upper data is the old data, basically. So I wanted below, from the right from the below collection, basically whatever it is, the end one I don't want. From below to 1 million rows I wanted. So how do I get it? If I have a billions of record, lots of crores of records, I have it. But from the bottom of the collection, I wanted from the bottom to upside 1 million rows. So how do I give it?
Greater than
Simple.
greater than
No, greater than, you don't know what is the value, end value. We cannot use a greater than. End value we don't know, then we don't go with the filter here. I don't go with the filter because I don't know the what is end to give the condition. If you go with the -1, this is goes in the reverse order, the value reverse order, and it gets the data from the bottom. What is the value you wanted to limit? 20. So this is going to get 40 to 20 records now. The sort will define what higher the beginning to end to beginning. The sort order will define that. You are reading the river in the reverse order means from the bottom to up. I mean, the value should go in the, I mean, the upper value will be lower than the below. Or else if you have a timestamp, use a timestamp. The best one is a timestamp. You already have the ID field, right? That will get you the best, like, the latest to the old. So if I do this one, come on, what this one? I'll look at it. What it said, parsing the command expected flag query. Sort required a query, but option sort. Oh, query
Maybe
tag I had
query.
kept. That's correct. And file name also have to change it, else it will overwrite.
Yeah, fine.
So now, if you read that file, it will get the data from the bottom. So you have to play like this, guys. You know what they might ask anything, like, if you see this one 40 to 20, we got it in the reverse order like this. So this is what, you don't know what people are going to ask. Again, this is loaded in the reverse order, but I wanted to load this into the database in the 121 to 40. I can do it. When I'm restoring it, I'll go with the descending order, ID1. So it'll come from the bottom to up, so that the values will be in the lower to higher order. See, you can play a lot of things. You just need to know how to play with the data. That's the big point here. I mentioned all these things, guys. If you see here, JSON data. So JSON, we need to mention JSON. JSON array, just JSON array. CSV, you have to mention the field name and file type is CSV. You definitely taking the collection of CSV format. Taking the conditional backup, you give a query greater than, see what it does, greater than 10 means 11 to 40, it will take the backup. Greater than 10 means, if you run the same command as it is it the same? Field name, we have the same thing, it seems. Ravinder, your password must be different. I'll run as it is, you will see that. Mongo export username authentication admin. Here what is the database name is lab for us. Just database name, collection, field ID name, query. Okay, this is fine. Type CSV, which is fine. Oh, this must be CSV. If it is CSV, extension must be CSV. You must follow these extensions. Very important. And what else? So I'll make it as emp csv12. I'll run this command as it is. Let's see if there's something wrong. We can verify it anyway. We can figure it out and then fix it. So LSF and L, first let's check it. These many files we have. I'm generating the CSV file, one more file, the different name. So if I run this, it is exported 30 records. What are the records? Greater than 10, which means that 11 to 40. So a GT, greater than 10, it must be then. What is the file name? This is, let's do the LSF file. All right, this is the one we generated. See this? Oh, it is random, but I did not give the sort. So 11 to 40. Below 10, you don't have any value like that. So you can follow what they're asking. That's the point. You have to, it's custom. It's custom always. Everything cannot be discussed. It is situationally you have to call. You have to use your, like your knowledge basically. When they ask something, they wanted these many records only, and they are asking specific record and with the limit. These many records only they wanted. So I mentioned taking the collection back with the limit option to limit the number of documents. We have discussed this limit. How many documents it will keep in the back in the file? Only 12, because you limited CSV file and the fields are FDN name, query is greater than 10 again, greater than 10, but 12 is output because you mentioned that. That also you're taking the backup collection with the sort. You wanted to keep the backup in the order, you go with the sort like that. So everywhere I mentioned, whenever it is CSV, you must follow the extension of CSV. Don't give the JSV. JSON, basically CSV is a mandatory extension you have to follow. Else people will confuse and it will fail.
Ravi, I just missed it. So, so every time running that Mongo export command, so the user password should I need to give compulsory? If I have admin rights, should I want that?
Just just a minute. You guys can hear me? Say something,
Yes, now,
please.
yeah, now we can hear you.
Okay, okay, guys. My mic was giving the problem. Anyway, so every time you have to give the password. Come on, what's going on? You can hear me, right? You guys can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
Okay, okay. Right. My mic is actually giving the problem here. Fine, whatever it is. So, which kind of backups taken in real time, CSV or JSON? It all matters. Why it is enabling this? Just what it's enabling my cam without my permission. What happened to this? Anybody hacked or what? Use hardware, not right now. What the heck is going on with this, huh? Can you guys hear me at least? Oh, come on. Again, it's on. Why it is switching on my cam? I don't understand. Just a minute, guys. Just a minute. Something is
You have
wrong.
wireless now?
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
Ravi.
Okay. Okay, guys. Sorry. That was right. Mostly we will take the JSON backups. What's going on with this scam? I don't understand. Anyway, mostly we will take the JSON backups. Most of the time JSON backup. The frequently thing, what data we receive, what data we load is JSON. JSON array, CSV are occasional, or very occasional. But the data maximum we deal with the JSON all the time. JSON is the proper format data. The JSON is direct format of the Mongo. Mongo is keeping the JSON data, right? Taking the JSON data. So JSON array is something different. We will talk about when you have a bulk data, you come with it, JSON array. And the CSV something you wanted specific fields. You can mention you have large volume of data in a collection. You don't want all of that. Doesn't make sense. You make sense for the target person. You can go with a CSV format where you can filter the fields. So this is all about the export, guys. This is all about the export. We are done with export. Anyone have any question in this? I'll come to the import. Import also similar way you have to call it, nothing else. Anyone want to ask something in the, see, I kept all the possibilities what we have done, but I just kept with the CSV file. You can play with the JSON or whatever it is instead of CSV. Just take out this, take out the fields and keep the JSV extension. It works, nothing else. Am I audible? I'm just checking guys because my audio lost.
Yes, you are audible.
Right, thank you. So is it fine, right? Export, any questions on this? Let me know because we called all the possible formats here. All these are the possible form: JSON, CSV, and JSON array. Where is the JSON array? Where did I keep the JSON array? Okay, EMP JSON. Okay, right, fine. So now let's move to the Mongo import. Let's play with it. So when I'm doing the import one by one, let's call, there are three ways only. Import is straightforward. There is nothing much you can do. When you import, you wanted to sort, you can sort, you can limit also, you can do it, but we import is straightforward all the time, all the time. So you see this one import, JSON array means it is JSON array file, you have to mention the JSON array. It is mandatory. CSV file, you have to mention the CSV when you are restoring it. JSON file, you have to keep the JSON basically. These are the only three formats we'll follow when we restoring it basically. It won't accept the queries when we restore it. When you export itself, you have to build the things, everything properly. Export, when you're exporting itself, you have to give all the logics what you wanted. You wanted to go with the sort, you wanted to go with the like a limit, you wanted to go with some conditional backup, everything can be done during the export. Now one by one I have to import. So I don't have it. It will create on the fly a database if you wanted. Show DBs. We have a lab right now, so I wanted to create a new database basically. I created another database, right? Only lab. Anyway, whatever it is. So now Mongo import now. Mongo import we are going to call, and the same thing again. Username and password. Every time you have to give the username password. It's mandatory because you are should be authorized yourself to do it. It's mandatory. Authentication database admin. And here you have to call the file where the backup is. You have to call the file basically. Okay. Then where MongoDB backup. Come on. Backup. What file I wanted to restore? Is it a JSON file? Let's go with the JSON first. First, I have taken this one, EMP JSON, right? EMP JSON,
Even
right?
if in the
And
same directory, you have to mention the directory over here.
no. If I am same, I no need to mention. It will call directly.
No, you are
Because
over here. You are in the same directory, right? Backup.
yes, if I don't directly call this one, I'll restore. Even if I don't call the directory, I can restore. Even if I call the directory also, I'll restore.
Okay.
So here I'm calling a database called cloud. The database name where I wanted to load is a cloud. And collection, which collection I wanted to load that data is a testing something. So we don't have a cloud database right now. It will create a database on the fly. So Mongo is a schemaless. That is what we discussed in the beginning. It will, if it is not there, it will create on the fly. That's it. So what I'm trying to do, Mongo import and authenticating it, and what database to what database I want to restore, cloud. What collection I want to restore, testing collection. Oh, come on, testing. That's right. Okay. And the file, I'm not calling the directory because I'm in the same directory where the file exists. Okay, if I hit it, it will restore. See, it is restored. It will create a database also. Why? Because we were not having a database. What database it is created? Cloud database. You see that cloud database. Show collections. db.testing. find. See, all the data got loaded like this. It is created a database on the fly and it is loaded on the fly. Can I do, if I example, if I'm trying to do the restore again with the same name, will it do? What do you think? Any idea? If I'm hitting again as it is, will it restore? It won't restore. It's a question.
No.
It should.
Why? Why no?
Add the record.
Its object already exists, right?
Which
A
object?
collection, right?
Yeah, it is not. It won't fail on the collection. It fail on the duplicate values. It will overwrite if there is no values, or it will merge the data. If I do it, it will throw that error duplicate index. So we have the value. See, error duplicate key error. You have the key. The object ID is already there. Again, it cannot take the same object ID. No, I badly wanted to override with the new data. This is new data, and that was old data, and I wanted to completely override it. You have to use the drop at the end. This small command called drop. It will overwrite it. If you wanted, you don't do the drop. Very dangerous. Very dangerous. If you do so, it will complete override the collection.
And if you want to sort it, where you are going to pass on the parameter?
Suppose if I wanted to make single one, just a minute. Suppose if we wanted to single, what is the single backup? I want to take single document backup. You have to mention for, like a limit one. So you want to take one document backup is saying that. So what you have to do, limit one, that's it. Don't give any condition, limit one, that's it. First document will take the backup. If you wanted a specific one document, give the equal to, like equal to that value, then that particular document only will take the backup. Right. Yeah, Bren, what were you saying?
If you want to sort the data while restoring, where are we going to?
No. Restore when you don't have, when you're restoring it, it won't support, I guess. Let's do it. So let's do the same thing. So let's go with the sort. So that is what, when you have to do when you're exporting itself. Sort is not supported during the restore, I feel. I did not do, but let's give a try as you are asking. Sort in the order. It is going to do? No. Why it is forcing the command line unknown error sort. During the restore, those does not support. Only export it will support. That's the disadvantage we have. That is the reason you definitely have to do that when you're doing it, when you're taking the backup. You know, right, what you are going to import, and when you are going to how you want it to import, that is where you have to export the way it has to load. Queries, sort, limit won't work here with the restore. Only with the export it will work, because when you are exporting, you have to define. When you import, you got everything, you're just loading it. So there is no condition work here with the import. Only export, you can supply all the conditions what you wanted. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
So if sort is not working, let's use the limit. If really condition is working, kind of. I don't think anyway. Let's give it only 10. See, limit is also not working. Basically, see, limit the same syntax we have used. So limit 12, something like that. Okay. Without anything, I just wanted to give a limit itself, any condition, I can do it. Absolutely, we can do limit with work with the export, guys. Where is the export? Quickly. Mongo export. I just don't want to give any condition, but limit I wanted to give it. It will work. See, all conditions go with the come on, just a minute. All conditions go with the export option. See, it is limited 20 records. The same thing when I give for the restore Mongo import, the same thing, limit is not working. Why? It won't work with the import. Conditions won't work with the import, only export. This is clear, right? Good question anyway. So that's what it is. So the first part is over, guys. So in the import only three, it is simple. Like what you are having, you load it. That's it. There is no condition, nothing. You just have the file, load it. There is conditional work thing. When you are exporting it itself, you should know what you wanted to import on the target. Is it clear? Confusing? Say something. It's important to understand. This is very, very important. This is what we do every day, most of the time. Imports and backup ratio is very, very important thing. That is the reason I'm spending a lot of time on this one. I can quickly 10 minutes, I can close this topic, but I'm spending time because to make you understand in all direction.
Backup is something export right here then?
Yes, backup is export, restore is, I mean, there are some other thing, Mongo dump, Mongo restore is a further higher level command. These are all higher level command. This lower collection level. You want conditional backups, you wanted limited data, you wanted some fields and all can work with this. Mongo dump, restore, you don't have anything. It will dump everything straight away. No conditions, nothing. Conditions does not work with the Mongo dump and restore, only with the Mongo export conditions. If you are exporting only import, you can take the restore, not this one. There are dependable things. If you use a Mongo export, you have to use the import only to import. If you use a Mongo dump, you can only use a restore only to restore. They are dependable commands. That is why I kept separately these combinations. But this has some additional benefits when you're taking the whole data. Part of the data you cannot take it with this. With this, you can take the part of the data by giving the conditions and all. With this, condition does not go. Just dump means dump. That's it. What do you want to dump? One database, one collection. But conditions won't work with it. Everything has a
Ravi,
drawback. Yeah.
so if I'm an admin user also for the every time username, password, those things I need to give.
Whoever you are, you need to authenticate when you're giving the command. You have to authenticate, right? You talk to the Mongo, authenticate, then do this rest of the commands. First, you have to authenticate. This is the first authentication. This authentication, this is binary you're calling to load the data. This is something you're loading the data.
Okay.
It's mandatory. It's absolutely mandatory. You don't have an exception, right? So
So in the
conditional.
real world, a Mongo service account will have the root permission, or individual IDs we will use this
No,
for import export.
individual.
Okay.
See,
Mhm.
Mongo service is Mongo R, but I'm calling
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Ravinder. Ravinder. It's an individual account. It's a DB account. All
Okay.
DBs will hold the root. They'll call their
Okay.
own
Okay.
password. Everyone will have a username, their own username and password. All DBs. Clear, right?
Clear, Ravi.
Okay, let's move further, guys. Not to waste time. So we see in JSON. Let's work with the JSON array. So same command. I'm not changing it. Keep things same, but the collection name I'll change it. Okay, it was Mongo export. No, Mongo import. This one. I'm loading into testing. A limit won't work here. Okay. I'm trying to restore into the collection cloud and testing 1 to collection because I don't want to overwrite, right? So drop also I'll take it off. Don't use the drop on SL. It's very dangerous. So as a file, I'm calling emp. Where is this? JSON. JSON. Okay. Come on. So this is a file, and I'm into the same directory. That is why I'm just giving it. But in the real world, you might be somewhere. You wanted to know. You wanted to call exactly where the location. You can pass the location. It is absolutely fine. You just have to give this way. Complete path you have to give it. Okay. So now what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to restore a JSON file, JSON array file. If I try to do it, it will throw the error. What is error? Unmarginalizing bytes on the document, a JSON decoder out of sync, data changing underfoot. This is something you need to understand anyway. This underfoot will come only when you have a JSON data. You never get this error. Marginalizing, unmarshalling bytes on. Whenever you see this error, you definitely understand that it's a JSON data. Underfoot, this keep this word. That's it enough. So if I wanted to restore, then what I have to do? At the end, I have to mention JSON array. This is a mandatory tag. Why? Because when you take the backup, when you have taken the backup, you have used the JSON array. When you are restoring it also, you have to call that array. Then only it will restore. So if the client is giving, third party is giving you the data, JSON array data, you have to go with the JSON array. You see this underfoot, then JSON array. Keep in mind, that's it. When you're restoring this underfoot error only come for the JSON array. For other things, you don't get it. Is it clear? If I hit it, it will restore. Oh, good enough. Parsing command line unknown option JSON. Oh, come on, so this spelling is wrong. JSON, come on, I just kept the wrong. Okay, let's me rewrite it. JSON array. Okay, now it will restore. See, I was trying to import. I was trying to call that file and restore. It is not working because it's a JSON array backup file, not the normal file. Just a JSON array file. You can load it. What I was saying is, come on, we discussed this part already, but anyway, quickly show it. So now this is called a JSON array restore. Now what I want to restore CSV. That is the only part left with us now. We're done. We done with the JSON. We are done with the JSON array. If you have taken the backup with the JSON, you have to restore the JSON. No need to do anything. If there's a JSON array, you have to use extra tag at the end of it. JSON array. You're telling the command system that it is JSON array file. So if what is a JSON? Just a JSON file. Let me pick up some data. We discussed this part, but still I wanted to show quickly, real quick. It won't take too long anyway. This is the data I wanted to load into Mongo. Basically, how do I do it? If it will generate the JSON data. Okay. Take this into JSON data means like this. If you see this one, this is the JSON data. This is absolutely JSON array data, not JSON data, JSON array data. So now db dot okay, sample dot insert many. That's it. You keep one parenthesis at the beginning, at the end give one parenthesis. Take out this and load into Mongo. We do this also, converting the data, SQL data into Mongo. Come on, I should give in the shell. DB, what DB we are in cloud, fine. It is loaded. So show collections. We just migrated data from SQL to Mongo. DB to sample. Fine, those three records are there here. What was there here? We just got it. But anyway, it works with a small data. A large data, we will have a RoboMongo, a licensed tool. That is a license. That's not a free tool. RoboMongo, a licensed tool. You get the tabs. Import to RDBMS. From import from RDBMS. Import to from. To means sending the data. From means getting the data from RDBMS. So simple things. That is dead simple, but it is paid tool. That is not a free tool. Your company need to pay for that. RoboMongo is migrations we have done using Mongo to SQL, SQL to Mongo based on the request that we did it through the RoboMongo tool. Very simple tool. We'll try to talk about that. Okay, so what else? We're done with the JSON and CSV. Let's talk about the CSV, last one. I'll pick up the dump also today. Tomorrow I'll finish most of the binaries, at least. Binary stuff I'll finish. Then we'll see all multi-platform like Windows, how we can run the Mongo on Windows, and how we can migrate the Mongo from on-prem to Azure cloud, and tool like Atlas tool, cloud Atlas tool. There are a few things left, guys. We are almost towards end now. So anyway, so CSV file. How do you restore the CSV? CSV is again special case when you're restoring it. Let's go to here. So this is CSV. So again, what do I have to do? Mongo import and username Ravinder, password Ravi@1234, authentication database. Every time you have to authenticate, it's mandatory. And which database you want it load? Do you want it load in brand new database? Yes, I can absolutely load. class database. Do you have class? You don't have. It will create database on the fly. What collection you want it to load? What do we say? Lab. Fine. Now, and where is the file? File actually in our directory, but I'm calling the complete directory for the sake of just familiarity. So what is the file I want to restore? CSC. This is the file. Now, if I hit it, it won't restore. The problem, what is the problem with it? Basically, if you read this, that file, you'll get to know. So let's read that physical file. You see this one, it is reading this one. This is where it is going wrong. This is where it is going wrong. Okay. The ID and address, it is not able to call this one. So you had to mention one extra header line, skip the header line and get the data. That is mandatory. You have to mention it is a type CSV data and it is header line. Two things you have to give it. Clear the screen again. Let's go with this one, class. Where is the EMB CSV? Maybe I kept it some. Let's see the data first. Right, this is good data we have. So ID and name. So I wanted to skip this when I'm restoring it. That is the only thing you have to deal with it when it is a CSV. So I'm trying to restore. This is a Mongo import and CSV file, right? CSV file name is emp. Let me replace that with this file, right? So you mention, it is mandatory that you have to mention type of the file. It's mandatory type. What is the type you are trying to restore? The CSV. You have to mention this. Without that you cannot do it. And one more tag, you have to use header line. Header line means what I'm telling to the command. There is a header line. Skip this header line. Pick up the next lines for the restore. It is failing for not picking up this one. You're telling that particular command, you telling this header line. There is a header line, skip it. This is not the data. It's just the field name. Field name you don't enter, right? So skip the header line, get the data. So type is CSV, the file what you are trying to restore, and skip the header line and then restore. That's it. And it is a class database and lab collection. Now you see the class here. No, you don't see it. It will build a database. It will load the data. See, it load it. We go and see. So DB's class. Come on, sorry. So DB's class is there, and use class. You get that data. This is all about Mongo import. If you have any question, let me know. I'm done. There is one more thing you have. I'll finish it anyway. DB dot show collections. Lab. DB dot lab. See, this is the data we just loaded. Okay. So CSV files will be loaded like this. Mongo import and authenticate, and see, this is creating database on the fly. In the real world, you you wanted to override a collection, or you want it, don't create every time you import it. I'm just showing that it can do on the fly database creation and load it. But in the real world, they'll tell us on which database we have to import this data, right? They'll have to tell us. That is, we need to know. And what file it is, CSV file. And writer line is mandatory. You have to mention every CSV file when they're taking the CSV backup through the Mongo, it will get the field names. The field names always must be skipped. That is why it is header line. And then restore as it is, nothing else. Any question in this? Let me know, please. And all mentioned, this document I'm going to share. See here, this is a JSON array file. This is CSV file. When I'm doing it, type I have mentioned, header line also I have mentioned, the file is given. JSON data, just JSON is straightforward. There's nothing much you have to do fancy thing. It's straightforward. Upset, and you have one command called upset, mode upset. Let's call about this. There is one more thing, merge. Merge also upset in Mongo. Import will update the records which are different than the existing. Okay. So thing is, upset is something very good command. There's something called merge also. Merge anyway does the same job. So how do we do this? tell you better. Fine. So how can I say this? I'm trying to build a situation, guys, here. To talk about the absurd. Let's make this way. You have the data already in one of the collection. Let's merge the data if you wanted. You can do it basically. Where is this class data? Quickly. Conditional class data. Somewhere I took the class data. This with address also I took one data, right? Where was that? Just I wanted to explain the better situation. Right, this is something good. So this data I wanted to merge with existing data. Existing means which is not actually following the structure at all. I mean, this is a different data, this is a different data, the input data, right? And if you see the IDs are already there, ID, okay, ID 14 and all that. The collection data should not overwritten, but it should append. That's what it is, merge basically. So does it go with IDs? I don't think so. Let's give it a shot. So what database we are in? Show DBs, and DB is a class. Show collections, and this is where we have db.lab lab.find. Okay, this is the data we have right now. Okay, now I'm going to append this data to that collection. So that is where you get that upset. Things are same, absolutely. Where which file that data was there? Address and all, which file? Cat emp. Okay, fine. Restore. I can write the whole command, but why to waste time, kind of. Okay. And it is not a CSV file. I don't need this all these tags. Okay, the collection must be there, right? Lab only, right? Lab, yes. So which file? This is the file, right? So what we are trying to do, generally either you overwrite or fail, basically. Let's do without that merge also it does the job. Let's see, merge. Where actually it makes sense is, generally we don't do this, but I wanted to create a situation where you can get this point exactly. Mongo import authentication admin class C lab is a collection, file is that. If I try to do it, let's see, it is imported. Okay, there's no condition here. You need to give it then. I'll make this situation exactly. I understood now how to make this situation. Now you got the data, that data. Okay, the data what we just loaded. Where this got loaded? What? Just the name. Where is the address and all? We picked up one collection, right? Anyway, see guys, one thing. I just wanted to make this situation intentionally. Don't do it. A VI and this file. What upset actually does? That's what the discussion here. Or is it really? I'll make a small empty collection, maybe new collection to make this situation better. Not into lab, maybe lab 2. Let's make this way. It will become easy for you to understand. db dot lab 2 find. Okay, you have all the data. So now 20 records are here actually. Okay, 20 records. So if you see 10th record is Ravinder, I manually change that value. Let's see. I'm trying to explain you guys the situation. This is actual data, what we got it. Insert, and I'm changing the input here, Ravinder to Ravinder 10. Okay, Ravinder to Ravinder 10. So now if I'm trying to go here, one record is changed. Okay, this is intentional. You need to understand this. This is a situation. You have to, because I'm thinking in many. I mean, how I can make you understand on that condition. So we have this record already in the collection, right? If I'm trying to import the same thing, what happens? If I do it, will it restore? It's a question. We have all that data, but one record is changed. I wanted to re-update that when I'm loading it.
Only
Will it
one,
do that?
only one will be get updated.
But it won't. Why? Because ID is matching. It is inserting it actually. If I do it, it will fail on every field. It does not take this as an update kind of. It is looking for this field. But this is the situation, exact situation we will call as upsert. What is upsert? I said we discussed the upsert. What is upsert? We discussed that part seriously. Upsert. Upsert means update plus insert. So now what I'm telling is upsert. So if we don't like, it will try to restore the same thing. What if it is not? See guys, if I do the upsert, it is like updating if there is a new value. If it is updating a new value in the output, if there is no value, it will not update. Basically it will re-import everything. I guess let's do it. Right, 20 documents is re-imported. Now if you go and see the database, okay, I'll explain. I got the point. How to explain. db.lab2.find. Right, you see this new update. When you get the new data, it is updated data. Old records data got updated. Now you wanted to update the old records, but the old record has ID field in it. It will not let you to update. Insert, right? Insert is not happen. It cannot insert the existing record. Why? Because it is already updated with the same ID, right? So I wanted to keep the data as it is wherever the new updates need to be applied to data. So that is where we use upsert. That is the only thing I can say. See, if I'm trying to if I do straight away restore, it will throw the error because ID exists. It's a duplicate. But the data got changed. Again, I'll change something to make you understand. Multiple records I'll change this time. So Kumar, so when you get the updated data in the existing field, then go with upsert, as simple as it is. What the heck? It's not moving. Oh, it is there at the beginning. Okay. Pradeep, some number. Kumar, some number. So when existing data this is very rare. We don't do this, but anyway, you need to aware of all the possible situations. Now existing records data got modified when we got that output now. So wherever the data as it is, keep the as it is. Wherever the new data came, they take that modified data into the existing data. So that is what it is. So if I do that upsert, it will restore all the data, and wherever the new data is there, it will keep modifying. It is kind of a what I say. It's not you. If example, how do I say, like it has a limited data, but it has billions of records. It has a billions of record, and only you got only 20 records to update. It will only update 20 records and come out of it. The 20 records also modified data. It will not touch the existing. If it is matching, update it. If it is matching, keep as it is the record. If it is changed, then update it. Come on. If you go and see the data, db.lab to find. You see that updated data. See this one. What do
So
you
Ravi,
need?
in simple word, update if the record exists, otherwise insert, right?
Otherwise insert, and means overwriting it kind of. Yes, it's a new data. Example, let me make one more point as a last example. So as you're raising the point, so what I'll do, I'm doing it. So I'm going to delete the records. This is going to make more clear for you, all of you, I feel. Insert mode. So now you have to tell me what is going to do. This is where you get the exact point what I'm trying to make, for sure. We don't do this very frequently, but there is a possibility of doing it. Let's stop it here. Okay. Now I'll delete these also. Oh, don't make mess. Okay, just a minute. I'll take out the entire record then. Right, this is all the data. So now I'll make Prabha 1, 2, Praveen 1, 2, Arjun 1, 2. Now I'll ask the question and then do it. Let's take out this database. This first records also let's take out. Now I'll save this output. Now what happens if I do it? Now how many records we have actually? Total 20. 20 records we have, of course. If I do the upsert actually have come on. Cat, if I read this, how many records we have? Total 4. So if I import, how many records will be there on the target? That's question. With upsert.
4.
4.
20.
Right. This is where we go wrong with this one. 20 records, but it is updated only 4. If it is there, then only modify it. Don't touch the existing. Don't overwrite and wherever it is matched, just update those values. I'm telling using the upsert. I already have a lot of data. I got some inputs. The inputs wherever it is matching, just update it. The rest leave it. That's what is called upsert. This should make you understand. I'm not getting how to explain. That is the reason I made a situation so that you can catch it. See, we supplied these 4 and it was different data. Now this 4 got updated, the rest left as it is. That's what upsert means basically with the restore. Even when you are playing with the DML also same thing. If the update will do if document exists, if there is no document it will insert. 2 things it does. Here you are giving it values, the wherever this value is matched, wherever this value ID value and this is matched, it is going and updating there. The rest it is leaving. It does not touch, it does not care about the rest. Only matching records it will update and come. That's it. If it as it is, it will keep as it is. If it is changed, it will change it. Even if I run again, it does not do any impact. Why? Because data is same. How many times you run it, it will just do it. It's not doing anything because there is no change. If there is a change, you see the reflection of that change here. Is it clear? Say something.
Yeah.
It must be clear, I feel, because we
Yeah.
made a situation. So Mongo import and export both are done. A dump and restore is straightforward and simple. We don't take too much time as tomorrow. And how do we automate backup also will be covered tomorrow. And the Mongo files are also will be covered tomorrow. If there are any change in existing document updated, Document does not exist. Yes, that's correct. If document does not exist, insert it. Yes, that's correct. Your statement is correct. So this is all about import and export. I don't want to start a dump now and leave in between. Let's go with this tomorrow. Okay. So we finished with the Mongo export and import. You should be very clear on this now. And I'm going to send this notepad with the today's. Tomorrow I don't send anything because same thing I'll talk tomorrow. Okay. I'll finish it off. And okay. Any questions before we wind up? Okay, stopping it.